This is Land of Havilah, Psalm 83. It's 18 verses, and it's the last of the 12 Psalms by Asaph. It's a prayer that God would defend Israel from the surrounding aggressor nations. Verse 1. A song, a psalm by Asaph. God, don't keep silent. Don't keep silent, and don't be still, God. For behold, your enemies are stirred up. Those who hate you have lifted up their heads. They conspire with cunning against your people. They plot against your cherished ones. Come, they say, let's destroy them as a nation, that the name of Israel may be remembered no more. For they've conspired together with one mind. They form an alliance against you. Comment now, list of nations that are threatening Israel, verse 6. The tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria also is joined with them. They've helped the children of Lot, Selah. Comment in verses 6 to 8, the nations forming an alliance against Israel include Edom, which is just south of the Dead Sea. The Ishmaelites were in the deserts to the south and east. Moab was opposite the Dead Sea from Israel, and Ammon opposite the Jordan River. Those two nations are the children of Lot, Genesis 19:37 and 38. David had wars with all those nations mentioned, 2 Samuel 8:2 and 2 Samuel 10:6. The Hagrites are less well known. Mostly we know them from one passage, 1 Chronicles 5:18 to 22. They lived on the other side of the Jordan River and fought with the Israelite tribes there, Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Those tribes massively defeated them. The Gebalites are even less well known. They're associated with the Mediterranean coastal area north of Israel, Joshua 13:5, 1 Kings 5:18, and Ezekiel 27:9. There's no record of the Hagrites conflicting with Israel other than in this psalm. Amalek's associated with the Negev, which is the desert just to the south of Israel, Exodus 17. Philistia is the land of the Philistines, neighboring Israel just to the west on the Mediterranean coastal plain. Tyre is a coastal city-state just north. Assyria was a massive empire that gobbled up the Middle East in Hezekiah's time, including the northern kingdom of Israel in 722 B.C., which was long after Asaph wrote this, so this part of the psalm could be considered prophecy. Concerning all these enemies, verse 9, do to them as you did to Midian, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the river Kishon, who perished at Endor, who became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeb, yes, all their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let's take possession of God's pasture lands. Comment, the names in verse 9 come from the history of Deborah in Judges chapter 4. In that account, Jabin was a king of the Canaanites, oppressing the Israelites. Sisera was the commander of his army. They oppressed Israel until God inspired Deborah to organize an Israelite army to defeat them. The key to battle was that God confused the Canaanite army and set them to flight in the plain of the Kishon River, Judges 4:15. The names in verses 10 to 12 of the psalm are from Gideon's history in Judges 7 and 8. Midian and Amalek in that account were invading Israel, stealing their crops and stripping them bare. Gideon organized an army of 300 men by divine instruction and set that large army to flight. Other Israelites joined in the chase and captured and killed their princes mentioned in verse 11, Oreb and Zeb, and their kings Zebah and Zalmunna. In the closing lines of the psalm coming up, Asaph wants God to arise against Israel's current enemies like he did in those olden times. Verse 13, my God, make them like tumbleweed, like chaff before the wind, as the fire that burns the forest, as the flame that sets the mountains on fire. So pursue them with your tempest and terrify them with your storm. Fill their faces with confusion that they may seek your name, Yahweh. Let them be disappointed and dismayed forever. Yes, let them be confounded and perish, that they may know that you alone, whose name is Yahweh, are the Most High over all the earth. Comment, it's been a recurring theme throughout history that the nations want to destroy Israel. To this day, the nations immediately surrounding Israel threaten Israel, and in the face of it, Israel has almost no support in the United Nations. Our prayer is that God will continue to defend Israel and that all the nations of the earth may seek the name of Jesus, the Messiah, who is Yahweh. Isaiah 7:14, Isaiah 9:6, Micah 5:2, and Zechariah 12:10. Psalm 84 is next.